Welcome to Season 2 of Pod Practice, where Mama Bird alumni Quinn Feiner, Mikey Lund, and myself, Alex Atkins, talk about Ultimate from the perspective of players and coaches. We want to engage with you, so please reach out, say hi, ask a question, give some feedback. We look forward to talking with you. To reach out, follow us on Instagram or YouTube at podpractice_pod. Listen on Spotify at Pod Practice, or email us at show@podpracticepod.com. I hope you enjoy this episode.
This is year 2 of our pre-nationals convos with players from a few of the one seeds. Today we talked to Claire Revere of Phoenix, Claire Trop and Cammie Groom of Scandal, and KJ Johnson and Skittles McQuaide from Fury.
All right, now we welcome on Claire Revere of the Phoenix and
All right, redo that. Jesus Christ, man. You were doing the intro, man. Jesus.
I know, but we didn't. But Mikey just asked me if I was good on the intro, and I lied. I'm not good.
Well,
This is why I write things down.
I got really nervous because I think about like Raleigh and then North Carolina, and then I didn't know what the Phoenix were. And then I got scared, and then that really just got in my head for the rest of the intro. Is it North Carolina?
Technically,
Phoenix.
I think it is listed as Raleigh Phoenix, but like the majority of our team's not from Raleigh, so
Right.
That's kind of how Bravo is too. Ulti World just labeled it Denver. Johnny Bravo at some point.
at some point. Well, but didn't the Flyers have the same issue? Like they used to be Raleigh, and now they're North Carolina.
now they are the Carolina Flyers. Yeah.
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, like the last 2 years they've been that. So
How are you doing, kids?
I don't know. Let me try one more time. Okay. Okay, and now we welcome on Claire Revere of the Raleigh/North Carolina Phoenix, a staple coach in the area, and also my nutsy coach from a long time ago, and will be attending nationals this year, obviously.
oh my God, dude.
Hey, we'll roll with this.
Claire, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. A little bit nervous, but it'll be a good time.
That's funny. That's good. We don't
Not
get
as
enough.
nervous as Kins, obviously.
Yeah. No, that's what it is. I'm feeding off Claire's nervousness, and it's good because I feel like not enough people are nervous when they come on. Like more people should be nervous just because of like who we are, what we do here.
We're important.
It's pretty big time, so like more people should be nervous for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So appreciate the emotions,
The nervousness.
Yeah.
No, I'll take the blame because I asked Kins to prepare, and that's the worst thing.
How could you ever ask someone like that to prepare for something?
But we'll jump into things here. Thanks for joining, Claire. So we're a couple of weeks out from nationals now. Phoenix is in a similar spot as last year, having coming off of a pro champs victory. What are the team vibes like? How's the team feeling? And do you know if you guys are, or if the team is drawing anything from last year's similar role into the tournament?
Yeah, I think vibes are good. Vibes are high right now. We had a good practice last night, and I think our coaches were emphasizing to us, kind of the idea that even though nationals like is the conclusion of the season, that like we don't have to feel like it's like the final product of Phoenix when we step into San Diego, and that like we'll still be iterating and improving and trying new things throughout the tournament, and to kind of give ourselves that grace of like continuing to improve throughout. So I think we're in a good spot. People are excited and the team's looking good. It's great to have everyone back together because we were pretty fragmented throughout the season. including like many teams having folks missing for Worlds for Pro Champs. But yeah, in a good place and looking forward to like continuing to build throughout the tournament.
The word, the iterating, we use that word all the time. So we love that. That's a great one. And like,
big buzzword. Yeah. And I
love the way you kind of talk about it not being the final product. Because if it like is like the end all be all, then it feels like you have to over prepare. And I think people fall into a trap of like changing things up like the weeks leading into nationals, when in reality you should just be kind of doing what you usually do and not acting like it's this huge thing and putting too much pressure on it. So I think that's awesome.
And I feel like you see that like from all the teams that you play in pool play, like you really get to, learn a lot. And the teams that get better throughout the tournament usually end up doing well. But speaking of like other teams, I'm wondering if you have anyone that you're really looking forward to playing, how you view the landscape of the women's division, and like who you see as like the biggest contenders, the biggest threats. Overall thoughts on that.
I think the team's really excited for the pool because it's just some folks that we don't normally get to play. And yeah, having different competition who are going to throw different looks at us, give us different things to adjust to, like is going to help, continue our growth as a team. And it's just, an exciting and fun opportunity. We had a very close game against Grit at Pro Champs. So looking forward to running that one back for sure. And then I'm also looking forward to playing Riot and pool play. It's been a long time since I've played them.
I'm just looking at the schedule. You haven't played Riot at all this year, is that right?
Yeah, not this year. Yeah, which means it's been at least 2 years since I've played them, and I can't remember if we played them in 2022 either. So it's been a while, but I've got some former mixtape teammates on that team.
Oh, that's right.
There's a big crop of like exciting young players, including like one of the athletes that I coached on the U20 team. So
that's so fun.
Yeah, it'll be really fun to get to see them.
How do you feel about like Fury, Scandal, Brute, Molly? Like where do you place yourself as a team relative to them? Because I feel like that's a big question about the tournament typically. Like I don't know when's
skipped over Flipside for the 5 seed. You just said
skipped right over him because I feel like, but I think that's like the like. I don't know. When's the last time a team outside of those teams have won nationals?
Yeah.
That's a good trivia question. I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
Comment down below, like and subscribe. Okay.
Those are all great teams. I think we can be competitive with any of them. And I think that, like Pro Champs showed us that, and it was a good boost, for our confidence going into nationals that like, if we bring the right energy and focus and belief in ourselves that like we can play with any of those teams and really, challenge them for one of those top spots.
Totally agree. I think the winner of Pro Champs is probably the best team in the division.
Awesome. And then kind of staying on the theme of just like your team, I know you're talking about how it's like not the final product, but in terms of like goals, what would a successful weekend look like for you all? Obviously winning would be awesome and clearly successful, but I think there's a lot that goes into that beyond just the results.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we do want to be competing for a title and think we can do that. And then I just alluded to the self-belief aspect as well. But I think a big thing for our team is that confidence. Our team values this year is drip. And I think it is just.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's what Quinn's out.
Believing in ourselves and one another and having kind of that like.
Swag.
That aura.
That's great. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Who do you think is the drippiest player on your squad?
Right, that's a good question. Who's got
And
most
what makes
swag?
them that? What gives them that aura?
Who has the most aura?
Oh, I feel like it's a toss up between like Sue and Karen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's sick. I
They're
know. I
both
love that.
they're both drippy for sure.
That's so fun for me because I love like having like a thing that's like a little bit out there. Like this year for me, here I go talking about myself again. But for me, like I've gotten into like super baggy track pants is like my thing. But yeah, and then on the USA Open team this year, me and AJ and a couple other people were talking about making like a tier list for like the drippiest and then the most undrippy players on our team. Maybe I'll release it before nationals and get in some people's heads, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be funny. And both of them can rock the baggy track pants too. I think it's part of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Least drippy. Lee, I'm trying to think of the least drippy Open.
Team USA Open player.
Yeah.
I went through it in my head, so I have a couple
Maybe
people that I would say.
Saul
is
okay.
down there. Saul is down there. But you also have to think about, here's like, if you really get into the weeds with it, there's certain people that like
their
ugly
undrip is their
ugly.
drip.
Yeah, exactly. So ugly cool is something to really consider. Because if you are wearing something that's inherently ugly and you make it look cool, that is the drippiest thing you can do.
Confidence. That's like, drip for sure.
Like
that's like what I go for.
Doesn't Sue wear the foam dome sometimes?
Yeah, the concussion.
Right? Yeah. So that's like,
sometimes
that's like pretty undrippy. But if you could pull that off, like I think Grant wears it.
Grant
on our
too.
team
I'm
too.
like, Grant, why are you wearing that? He's like, dude, I just think it looks so cool.
It looks so sick. But you have to look good. You have to look good to play good, in my opinion. So.
Well, by the way, what was your path from? So you went to Whitman, so you're East Coast, and then played in Seattle, and then.
So Whitman's West Coast. Whitman's in Walla Walla, Washington.
Oh, I must be thinking of one of the Boston schools. Are you from Seattle?
William and Mary?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're thinking
You're
of?
probably thinking of the Walt Whitman Bridge.
No. Who are the where did Jack Virtue go to school?
Dartmouth.
I think I was thinking of Dartmouth.
Those are
what are they?
Jack
What
and
is?
I went to the same high school.
No way.
Oh, in Seattle?
Yeah. And Claire Trope.
Really?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holy smokes!
So
I didn't cross over
cray.
with Trope at all, though.
That's pretty crazy.
Is that high school team, if you take the all-time players from it, one of the, like, if not the best, one of the best, if not the best?
I don't know.
Is there others? This is
like Amherst.
Yeah.
I think there's some East Coast high schools that probably have us beat.
It's a pretty
first strong, like really strong first three though. Like that's gonna be tough to.
Yeah. Anyway, individual stuff. You've been competing at a high level for a long time now. Do you have any routines, and what's your method of preparing leading up to a tournament like nationals?
Yeah, I try not to do too much that's like different or out of the ordinary, other than like trying to drink more water, which I'm atrocious at. And make sure
you have a Stanley?
It's not. It's off-brand. Yeah, not.
So that's the issue. Is it's off-brand. You don't want to drink from that thing. You need to spend the money and get the. You need
on-brand for sure.
Now, I've been listening to all these things about microplastics and why you need.
Oh God.
Anyway,
yeah, not the microplastics.
That's why I don't use a plastic straw.
Yeah, I have a glass straw here.
There you go.
But I only have one of those.
So aside from drinking more water,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt that train of thought.
I think other than that, like trying to, think just a little bit about, which we do before every tournament, but like who the teams are going to play are and kind of what my role is, what I want to execute on, anything that I maybe expect to be different than normal and just kind of want to think about in advance. Recently I was chatting with some teammates about fronting defenses and how to, like adjust and adapt to that, because that's something that I'm expecting to see more at nationals. And kind of, given what people have seen from us
From film.
on film from prior in the year. I don't know.
So
Yeah, I'm curious. If I want to talk a little bit more about like the fronting in particular, because that's something that happens. I get fronted a lot as well. I'm curious, like what you think about when you see someone doing that, like fronting you, or for me, sometimes when like I get backed all of a sudden, I like my brain breaks and I like try to beat them deep repeatedly, and they're just like sitting on top of me. I'm like, what am I like? I'll just go take the under. Like, so kind of what. Just talk a little bit more about that and kind of what you think about.
I mean, I think it is finding a balance, because obviously, I can read what the defense is giving me, and to a degree you want to take that. But I also think being complacent and just going where you're being guided is not a recipe for success offensively. So also being willing to, like attack a hip and challenge what they're trying to take away. So that's kind of what I was thinking about recently about the fronting. But
I mean, if they're a good defender, they're probably fronting you for a reason. And like, if you just go deep the other direction, like it's like, oh, did exactly what they wanted me to. So we've been saying high value throws and high value completions and stuff. So maybe that's not the highest value. If you just like, maybe it's not even completion, but if you just like take what they're giving you, it's not the highest value. So
what kind of stuff are you bringing to nationals? Like what are your tournament essentials that you can't live without?
Sunscreen. I burn pretty easily. We're going to be in San Diego.
What kind of sunscreen?
That's actually kind of interesting, because I'm allergic to aloe vera, which is in a lot of sunscreen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is stupid, but Neutrogena is the best.
What about, can you just have like an aloe plant in the house?
I just can't.
It's not like a peanut allergy.
I don't know.
I think even if you had a peanut allergy, you could have like a peanut plant.
Because I don't think that's true.
That one's more dubious, I feel like. Allergies can be pretty severe.
Yeah.
But
one of my favorite plants is an aloe plant, and I have in the other room. I would feel terrible if someone came over with an aloe allergy.
No, they'd probably be okay, as long as they don't rub it on their skin.
One of our players, sorry I keep interrupting you, Ty Wynn, we have a bunch of sunscreen. Actually, I think we may have inherited some from the Phoenix players, because at Pro Champs we have a bag that we check. So I think your team left a bunch after your game and gave it to us, and now it's in our disc bag.
Hell yeah.
At Pro Champs or US Open?
I think Pro Champs.
Weird.
Because it was right after we played finals right after you all did.
Oh yeah.
And
but did you all drive?
Yeah, that's why I don't know why we would have given you the sunscreen, but
right. Maybe it was US Open then.
Or maybe we just stole it.
I was gonna say, this sounds like inherited with,
or it could have been maybe it was the New York people.
We're really generous.
Yeah. Maybe we just stole it. But so Ty, who is he's Asian like me, so we don't burn that easily. But he told me he has not put sunscreen on for like 2 years, and I was like,
Jesus.
What are you doing, man? You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's really bad for you.
Yeah.
Definitely really bad.
What else is in your tournament bag?
Can't just be sunscreen.
Yeah, some electrolytes, liquid IV, Band-Aids for blisters.
Band-Aids.
I like to come prepared, honestly. Like, I don't have to go to the trainer for a blister, to get supplies. So I'll just have the stuff with me.
Liquid IV is your go-to, huh?
I think it's the most convenient for bringing with me instead of buying there.
It's individually packaged, yeah.
Yeah. And then bands I have.
Oh, nice.
I hurt my shoulder at World's tryouts in February, and so that's a newer thing, but making sure that I can get adequately warmed up.
So throwing it back a little bit, I'm really curious about young Alex Atkins.
I'm not.
If you remember
So do
him,
you
though.
remember anything about him from Nutsy, or any good Tobias stories as well? So while we're on the topic,
I don't even remember when. Do you remember what year it was?
No.
I was talking to Buck because my roommate is Nate Buckles, and I guess we went to that Nutsy together too, but we didn't. He was younger, and we didn't know each other. But he said he thinks you were that year as well. Who were the other counselors that year?
I'm trying to even think which year it was. I think I CIT'd one year, and then I was a counselor one year.
Uh-huh.
I think it was like 2015, 2016 maybe that I was there.
Was Bo Shots there?
I don't think so.
It would ring a bell if he was.
Who's
Tanner Johnson was CIT with me.
Was
And
Babbitt
Corbin?
was Babbitt there?
Yeah.
Was Noah Robinson there?
Maybe that sounds familiar.
Because what I remember from the year you're talking about is Noah had a sick layout D in the camper counselor game on an under. Do you remember that? No.
Jesus.
That was a long time ago, people. It was like a decade
I would
ago.
imagine is less memorable for the
I
counselors.
feel badly. I feel like this has come up a few times recently where someone's like, "Oh, you coached me at this camp," and I have a very bad memory, and I don't.
I was just a
retain
number.
the camp memories very well. Like players I coach for full seasons, I've got, but
What about Tobias? What were some funny Tobias stories that goofy young ass Tobias was doing?
yeah, Tobe's great, and I coached camp with Tobe this summer. And my favorite now story from that was at camp. We do a coaches panel, and someone asked what the best advice, like playing advice that everyone had received was, and apparently I wasn't actually there I wasn't there, but I was retold that Tobias's answer was that when he got to college, someone told him to like swing the disc and switch the field, keep the disc moving with more tempo. And that was the first time he had been told that, which I found hilarious because I'd coached him for multiple seasons and we had definitely worked on that. But for some reason, y'all said it different in Colorado and it stuck with him. So good
It was
work.
probably nut too. Sounds like a nut thing.
That does sound like not, yeah.
But I thought that was really funny.
That is funny. God, don't you hate that when you tell people stuff, but they get there at their own pace?
Yeah, it's got to be the right time for each person. So
I'm not sure Toby's even there with swinging the disc yet. He understood the pace part of it, like because he throws it so fucking hard.
Hammers. You swing it. Hammer swings.
Yeah, but he throws it upfield 99%.
He doesn't get if he catches.
You just got to
it
cut for it
near
now.
sideline.
I cut for the hammer swing now for Tobe. It's ideal.
it's been fun to watch him. He's definitely had a lot of success. I feel like moving up to the next level. So that's sweet. Happy for him.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell? Did you know that he was going to explode like this?
I feel like we could tell he had a bright future ahead of him, but it has been like very quick. I feel like he's gotten up to the next level faster than, not that I had something in mind, but faster than a lot of people are able to make that transition.
It's abnormal.
Yeah. In a good way.
Totally. In a good way.
Did you have any nicknames for him?
Tobe.
Tobe.
Laroni.
Well, okay, you got to give
I never tried that one.
you have to give the evolution of the nickname, kids.
Toblerone.
Yeah,
So-
it did connect for me. It makes sense.
Yeah, so I think it was at World Tryouts. This was the first time I had met him, and we were all staying in a house together, all like the Bravo guys. And I started calling him Toblerone. That big bar of chocolate,
bar.
And then it evolved very, very fast. So I can't take a lot of credit for it because it went from Toblerone to whatever it is now in like 2 seconds. But I started it. That's all I got to say. I need
You
I
probably
love
got one.
nicknames that are like third cousins once removed from the original nickname.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any of those?
Well, us three.
Mm-hmm. Your own nickname?
No. Well, I want to call Quinwa, but
What?
that one
Like
just
quinoa?
started.
Like quinoa?
Yeah.
I haven't even. Is that why you said that in our group chat?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
No
about?
context. I saw a bag of quinoa and I thought of Quinn.
That's
I keep
funny.
saying Quinn.
Your own name.
No, because I'm thinking of quinoa. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
the
think
funny thing is,
Quinoa would be a good name.
I've never had a nickname that's stuck. Kins, like people have called Kins for so long that it's almost started to revert back to Alex. Like people call him Alex,
Right,
now.
because like that's more of a nickname.
Because Alex is more of a nickname than Kins is.
Hmm.
And then Mike, I call Mikey, Mike. I think the gun sometimes.
The gun.
Mike the gun, Lun. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you know what's funny is that at my restaurant that I work at, everyone, like, they don't call me Alex. No one calls me by my name. Everyone calls me Frisbee. I swear to God, that is like my
That's
name.
fucking
What's up,
hilarious.
Just Frisbee.
Does
It
anyone call you Paul, Claire? I feel like,
I got called
that's
Paul in college. Yeah.
okay. That's really
That's
that's
funny.
I like that.
It's low hanging fruit,
I like
but it's
that.
really good.
I think my favorite, well, for Quinn, I think it would be fun if he was Quinoa, because then we could just call him Noir.
I'm in, man. I've always
Dude,
wanted
Noir
it.
would be sweet, but it's a little
Noir.
hard to say. Noir. But I really like Danny Landisman, who's a very nicknameable person. Like, I think I kind of want to start calling him Kid Frisbee, because he also has that vibe to him. But
What?
because he's like Kid Frisbee, like he just acts like that. Like
He's
he's
just
like
like
the
a
young,
boyish.
yeah,
Yeah.
the boy Kid Frisbee he grew up playing. Anyway, I got that from Kid Poker, but he was. One day we were at like a event and he was playing beer pong and he really looked like a high school quarterback.
Because he was
And-
wearing like a sport polo. Like
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like this ugly polo.
Yeah, so then I nicknamed him Franchise because he was like that's like a nickname you would get like if you were like going to be the franchise
This is
like
a
of a
good
team. So then he was Franchise, but that quickly turned into like I like to just like say things in a fun way, so that turned into Franchismo, which because that's just like fun, Franchismo, obviously. And now his name is just Cheesemo. Like, he's basically just become like the cheese or Cheesemo, which is so good.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I was actually thinking of like nicknames and like fun things, and this is what I thought about like when you were talking about. You said Whitman was in like Walla Walla, Washington.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys should adapt like wah wah wah, like a baby crying, because it's like Walla Walla, Washington, like it's 3 WAs. So it's like you could be like there's that fun little baby line that's from a rap. Like okay. Anyway, people know. If you know it, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I think like a wah 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 shirt would be pretty funny. And it could be like
Okay.
WA, comma, WA. All right. Anyway,
All right.
feel really good about that. Had to get that one out.
All right.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, Claire, if you're in contact with them, let me know. I could
For sure.
I could write something up.
So how do we feel about a finer thing, Claire? Do we have one? Kin start. You'll get her.
If it's wah 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 too, like if it's when someone comes
We're
up
over
with a
it.
good,
It's done. It's done.
I do have one. My finer thing is I've been cold plunging in the morning every day because I have a horse trough, and it's getting to the perfect temperature where it's like at night it goes down to like whatever, like 50s here, so it's like a really I don't have to like do any ice or anything. But my finer thing is when I get out in the morning and at the right time the sun shines into the backyard, and getting out of the cold plunge and going to stand in the sun is really nice. And on the best days when it's really a finer thing, and this is like probably kind of TMI, but like when no one else is home because everyone works in the morning, I just get to like stand there with no clothes on, and that's like actually the best finer thing because like it's nice to be in the sun. Yeah, it is. It's total freedom. Me and my 2 dogs. Well, my 1 dog and my roommate's dogs. That's my finer thing.
That's a good one.
It's really nice.
Nice.
Claire, anything come to mind for you?
It's my turn. I feel like the best thing that I could come up with without more time to prepare. It's like I'm big on writing things down. Like I would rather write by hand, take notes, that kind of thing, than do it digitally. And like a good pen, like just some smooth ink, like
that's a good one.
That's really good. Yeah.
I think is a finer thing to me.
What's your favorite pen? Is it a G2 Pilot?
Yeah.
Is it?
Like the fine tip one, yeah.
Yeah, G2 Pilots are the best. Yeah.
It's like maybe a generic one, but I totally agree with that. I was writing with this pen for a while, and I did not realize how shitty it was until I started writing with this pen.
I've got a G2 Pilot right here.
With you. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have one within reach, but
I actually think that's a really good gift idea if you know people that like to like write things down. Go to like a nice pen store.
This is the other one I like.
The really small ones.
Yeah, I got my.
Wow.
Your pen.
Also, I think the click on it is really important too. Like the
good click. Do you have any fountain pens? Click.
Oh, it does. It's just got a cap.
Yeah.
See, that disqualifies it for me, to be honest.
It's more for illustration than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any fountain pens?
I do.
Or
not.
are those?
I heard those are making a comeback.
I went into this store on Pearl Street in Boulder that had like, really expensive pens, and I got a whole whatever. It was cool. I don't know. I didn't know it was such a world, such a space. They were very fancy.
I heard this one too. This is my other one. It's what is it? It's by Days, the gel ink metal ballpoint pen. And it's like
a pencil.
Super heavy. No, it's a pen. It's got a good click.
Wow.
You have to give me the details on that one.
I'll
send it to you.
I'll send it to you. It's really good.
Honestly, I like this one from my dentist office. Good weight to it.
A free pen is nice.
Yeah. Boulder Canyon Dental. I still drive up to Boulder. I live in Denver.
You do?
Claire, were you a journalism major in college? You're giving journalism major vibes with the pens and the communications and all that.
Yeah.
You were?
I did. So Whitman is a liberal arts school, so journalism is not a thing there. But I did environmental humanities.
Okay.
Which is like English and environmental studies put together.
Okay, cool.
And I have a master's in strategic communication.
Nice.
Through the journalism school at UNC.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was journalism and in communications, so in like media studies and stuff like that. So I don't use it at all these days, but what are you gonna
do? This would have totally applied to journalism.
This applies.
This seems like strategic communication. I feel like that's all I do.
Super strategic.
Awesome.
Mikey Quinn, what's your finer thing?
Oh,
bro.
I will go with mine. Are kind of lame because but no, I'll give mine. Probably my weekly plant watering lately. Like my plants are thriving, except for the fig tree. It's not doing so well. I don't know why.
If you got fig tree advice,
send it my way.
Comment down below, like and subscribe.
I've been dedicating like 30 minutes. I have a lot of plants, and I fully douse them and let them drain. And then I honestly just stand in front of my window and sort of just pet my plants.
Hey, weirdo.
I feel like that's more TMI than my TMI.
For sure, yeah.
What would you rather not like walk in and see me like naked sunbathing in the backyard.
That over literally anything in the entire world.
Or Mikey's petting his
I
plant.
literally will just I will hug my rubber plant.
What's your favorite plant, Mike? What's your favorite plant?
Probably the rubber plant.
Plant?
I have a bird of paradise I like.
I have a bird of paradise.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
They have nice
those are
big
fun.
leaves.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't say the aloe plant.
Not the that is up there. It is. It's also thriving.
Monstera is my favorite plant, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Do you have a
That's
Monstera?
easy. I do. Yeah.
Nice. That's the best in my opinion. They're just so cool. My parents have this gigantic one that they've had to cut a leaf off and replant it in their house, and it's insane. Okay, I got a finer thing. It's kind of a weird one. Has anybody taken beta alanine and it makes your face tingle?
Yeah.
It's like an ingredient in pre-workout that flushes.
Recreationally.
Well, sure, but it flushes lactic acid. I'm pretty sure, but it kind of makes your face tingle a little bit. And so I have recently gotten a pair of they're Therabody, but Normatec compression boots, and that could be a finer thing in itself. But there's a specific, if you stay in them long enough, an hour, your legs, they get a little sweaty and they get kind of itchy and they tingle a little bit. And I think that's there's something weirdly
A skin
nice.
Condition.
Yeah,
is what it
no,
sounds
it's just
like.
it's just because the blood is circulating, and that's why you get itchy and tingly, and that's there's something
Totally.
weird.
All right. So we're all weirdos apparently, except for Claire.
Yeah. Itchy, tingly, plant petting.
And then,
If y'all have to do this over and over, though, it'd be
It'd
get weirder each time I came up with
gets
something. I
weird.
think.
Yeah,
We haven't done one in a while though, so really
Yeah,
there's
it's been a while.
no excuse.
but I think we've done 20.
We've done a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
All right, I feel really good about that.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, Claire.
Yeah, thanks, Claire.
Definitely.
You were the first one too, so you're getting us warmed up.
Amazing.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck at nationals. Hopefully we'll have a chance to say hi in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah,
Cool.
y'all too.
All right. Peace out.
You want me to do the intro, or do you want to do the intro?
How many times are you gonna ask me that, Quinn?
Well, you didn't give me an answer yet.
I think I did. I feel like I gave a pretty strong indication of what I
right.
wanted.
All right.
I know that's what it's like, huh? It's not easy, Quinn, just making a freaking
It's not. No, it's not
making
easy.
an intro on the spot. One of these days we'll make intros. Oh, Mikey's back. That was long, Mike.
You'd think we'd be more prepared is all. But we actually used to be more. I used to write these, but anyway. Goodbye.
No worries. We know such legendary players that introducing.
I kind of like the idea of letting the players introduce themselves, you know?
Well, I'll do a short intro, and then I'll just kind of ask you guys to give your own intro. But okay. All right. So today we have Cami Groom and Claire Trop on of DC Scandal, and both world champions recently. Claire, Cami, how you guys doing?
We're doing well. Yeah. Beautiful day here in DC. Happy to be on the show with y'all.
Awesome. It's not often we have two people in the same spot, so we'll try to direct questions at one or both of you. We'll see how that goes. But Cami, why don't you start? Just kind of give us the rundown on your career, how you found Frisbee, and just that general gist.
All right. Cami Groom, currently play for DC Scandal. Probably best known for my many years on Boston Brute Squad. Found Frisbee in college. Went to college to play basketball and run track. And then I transferred, was kind of waiting for basketball season to come back around, and decided to go out to a Frisbee practice. I had some people on my floor who played and were kind of looking for athletes, and fell in love with it from there.
Claire, why don't you do the same?
Yeah, okay. Claire, also currently playing for DC Scandal, but met Cammie back in Boston on Brute Squad a number of years ago. I'm from Seattle, so I started playing Frisbee as just like my spring sport in the 4th grade, at like age 10. But I was much more serious about soccer. I also went to college for soccer, and then wasn't really my vibe. So after my freshman season, I quit. And there were a number of actually Seattle Frisbee players on the Dartmouth team. And so I switched to Frisbee and I kind of haven't looked back.
Awesome. When you say it wasn't really your vibe, I'm kind of curious, was it the community aspects of Frisbee that kind of drew you in? Because I know, like, so I grew up playing hockey and it for sure wasn't my vibe either. And, started playing Frisbee, never looked back. And like, I just feel like the community is such a awesome thing to be a part of. So I'm curious from your perspective on that.
Yeah, the community was definitely a big part of it. I also think just for myself, I was playing like D1 soccer and I really felt like I had reached a point, like a final point on that career. Like I didn't see like a lot of opportunities for growth. I was not going to go pro or something like that. And Frisbee just, I think, offered such an opportunity to continue something beyond college, to grow into something, to like really strive to high levels. And I think that really excited me. And like soccer had lost some of that luster. So like that has been like a really rewarding part of Frisbee. And I think I could see that was a possibility even in my freshman year of college. And so that was a big thing. But I also like loved the Dartmouth Frisbee team. Like a lot of my best friends were on that team and they then got me down to Brute Squad. And so that has been very rewarding for my career as well.
What was one of the first moments you were like, oh, wow, I could, really do this Frisbee thing? Like, do you remember, was there something like a game or meeting someone that got you really excited about it?
Yeah. So I went to high school with Jack Verju, who also went to Dartmouth and now plays mixed in Seattle. And back when we were in school together, I think my like one job was to like run really fast after like whatever huck Jack would throw. And I think exposure through him to like he was playing on world's teams and things at that time. I didn't think I had any capability at that level, but I like knew it was a thing. And I think that was good. And then I think I made my first U20 team my junior year of high school. So like 16, 17. And I went into that tryout not really thinking I was going to make the team. And it just kind of opened a door, I think. And yeah, kind of everything since has been a little bit surreal, if I'm totally honest. Yeah.
So are you guys roommates? Or
We
just
used to be.
And
So you
now we just hang out all the time.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the friendship because Mikey put some information in the doc. And so how many teams have you guys been on now? What season is this?
My first season on Brute was 2019. So we played, not including the pandemic, 2 seasons on Brute. And now this is 2 seasons on Scandal. There was like a year break in there. And then we've
The World's team.
done World's things.
And what made you guys go to play for Scandal? Like, did you talk to each other or was it a coincidence that you both went to play for DC? Or how did that come about?
Well, I moved here for work after graduating from college and played Brute that season, 2021, traveling. And then when Scandal restarted, I'd actually never played in the same city that I'd lived. And so when Becca Arbacher and Nate Tremonte, 2 of our teammates, restarted the team in 2022, I was so excited to not commute. So that's how I got roped into Scandal. And it's been really wonderful. But we didn't really talk about it, I don't think.
Yeah, not at that time. Yeah,
So it was
I had
just
a
a
less
coincidence, kind of.
Sort of, yeah, partially. I was just finishing up law school and had a job that was allowing me to either move to San Francisco or DC. And so we did talk at that time to be like, there was a house that Claire was moving into, like potentially rooming together, potentially playing Frisbee together. And then I made the very controversial choice to play Phoenix in 2022.
We endured. We were still friends.
Why was it so controversial?
Well, because we were living together and I was living in DC, and it wasn't just even us living together. It was also Lizzie Laurie, another Scandal player.
So you were living with 2 Scandal players playing Phoenix.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I can't. I'm
also currently on Scandal, and Kayla Strict, who was on Scandal, were both playing Phoenix at that time.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, if my roommate Buck, or like if I played on like a different team and he was on Bravo, or like vice versa. I just can't imagine. It'd be so funny. That's actually really
there
funny.
were some contentious moments.
It was a little spicy
at times.
You're like, yeah. That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah, like Lizzie and I would like be discussing Scandal strategy because like we were
right. Yeah, you gotta like.
And then Kim would come downstairs. It's just like everyone's.
I had everyone.
Damn, that is crazy. What made you all play Phoenix that season? Was it just something that happened, or was there something that kind of pushed you guys that way?
Well, I will say Beans, Amanda Murphy, and Kayla Strick had better excuses because they had played Phoenix the year before, and then had moved. Well, I think Kayla lived in Richmond? Charlottesville. Okay. Yeah. So Beans had moved then to DC, but decided to keep playing with Phoenix. In my case, Scandal was coming back post-pandemic for the first year, and Phoenix was pretty established program with coaches that I really wanted to play for. And I just wasn't sure really what the coaching situation was going to be for Scandal. And also a big consideration for me was that Phoenix was going to be competing at the club championships and Scandal was not. So that allowed me to play both worlds with the same club team and nationals with the same club team.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Thanks, Quinn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
We didn't know anything about our coach because he was new.
Wonderful.
But Ty Adderall, coach, is like really incredible and phenomenal. And I'd like to think that if Cammie had known how great Ty could be at the time, maybe we would have been able to sway her.
Yay, also great.
Also great, yeah, for sure.
I'm curious. I'm kind of curious what makes him such a great coach from both of your perspectives.
I think he actually is really multidimensional in a way that I really appreciate. I've had a number of coaches who I feel like have been kind of specialists. Like there's the strategy coach, or there's like the people coach who's like really good with the interpersonal stuff. And I think that Ty really is excellent in a couple of different areas. I think he's a really good strategy brain, especially on the offensive side, and like system level stuff. I think he's really good at like the feedback element of like giving individual feedback as well as team feedback. And then I think he's just like very conscientious and thinks like pretty critically about what spaces he takes up. We had conversations when we were like starting the team, and he was like very cognizant of being like a male coach who'd never played in like the women's division and how that was going to like be affecting the players and when he wanted to like speak up versus when he wanted to make space. And I just like have always really appreciated that. And I think he brings that amount of like thoughtfulness to kind of all the different elements.
Yeah, absolutely. And he listens to us.
Yeah.
Which we all.
I'm also getting word that Cammie was 3-1 against you, Claire, during that 2022 season.
That sounds about right. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Where are you getting that word from, Quinn?
From Mikey, our wonderful producer.
Our producer in the background.
Glorious.
Mikey's just stirring the pot.
Scandal had an unsanctioned 15-13 victory in DC against Scandal against Phoenix, and it was epic. But yeah, we did lose every other game to them.
Yeah.
But we lost to a lot of teams that year. So
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it happens.
So thinking about this year, now that we're all on the same team together, what do you guys view as like your biggest strengths as a team when you think about Scandal?
Oh, interesting. I think we have a team that just kind of I'm gonna use a Brute Squad phrase that I always use, but like really buys into like a gritty, not pretty mentality, which is like my big thing in Ultimate. But I really do feel like we have a lot of people who work really hard and are kind of willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And so I would just highlight that is our biggest strength.
Yeah, I think that's right. If you watch that semifinal last year of us against My Brown, it's something like 64 turnovers. And I think it was like, it's a war of attrition. And I think like Scandal is like really willing to lean into that, like not get frazzled by that and just be like, we're gonna grit it out.
Yeah. Touching on last season as well, Cammie, this is kind of specifically for you. I'm curious how it was playing against like your former team in Brute in the final. Personally, I've only ever played for like one real club team, so I don't know like the dynamic there, but I'm curious just how that was and playing against all those people.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely not easy. Luckily, we had played them a number of times, and I had played them even before in 2022 on Phoenix. So I had a couple of times to kind of work through it. But it is weird to play a team that or like a program that you've built up. And it's weird to play them because so much is familiar, and it's weird to play them because so much is different and has changed. And like from a strategy perspective, that can be really complex of like, oh, I think I know what they're going to do, but in this case, they're doing something different, or like, are they doing something different? And then from like an interpersonal standpoint, it's also very interesting to be like, okay, I'm no longer a part of this program who has these new pieces and personalities that are a part of it. But at the same time, I have these really close connections of people I played like very meaningful years of Ultimate with. So it was bittersweet. You know, if we had won, it might have been a little different, but two great teams. And I think it's been a pleasure to play them each time because they always bring a challenge for us.
And then Claire, same question for you. I know you played in 2019. I'm not sure how much crossover there was from those years, but similar question for you.
Yeah, I played 2019 and 2021. And I think notably also a lot of my college teammates are on Brute Squad still. So I feel like there's something there. Yeah, I think I would like echo everything Cammie said. I think the like real piece that's brutal is like when you do have the like interpersonal connections and people who like sort of feel like they should be your teammates but they're not, and then like the utter devastation of winning or losing and not sharing that moment with them is like really weird, where like previously I'd done a lot of like high highs, low lows with those people, and then being like, oh, this is like a deep low for me and it's such a high for you, or vice versa in other games when it went the other way, was like really something that I had to grapple with and was challenging. But I was like, you know, not a year out, I'm like happy for them now, but it took a while to get there.
Yeah. I mean, me and Kins have played on a team together since I think 2018. We started playing college together, played 4 years of college together, played Bravo together. I think if I had to play against Kins, it would not be pretty. We would like the one time like we have played against each other, like I guess there's a couple times, but in just like scrimmaging Bird against Bravo, like we almost got in like a fist fight.
Lotus.
Like,
Lotus.
Was it Lotus? Yeah, I've told this story before, but like we almost got in like a fist fight. So
no, we didn't almost get in a fist fight. There was no fighting on the horizon.
It was bad, but
it was lit.
Yeah, I can only imagine if it was like a Nationals game or like something like that.
Yeah.
Who's
the initiator between you two? Like, who's throwing the first punch?
I'm not a fighter, really. I'm very passive.
He's just a shit talker. He just likes to get under people's skin, I guess.
I just like to annoy people. Like one of my personality traits is definitely annoying.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
A good one.
I love that you own that.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all know, but he's probably one of like the most controversial figures in the men's game today.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
We're talking about now.
Yeah.
Kids, I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but
No, I don't know. Man. I want to know I want to hear the controversy, I guess.
That's as far as we know that
Yeah.
it goes. We've just heard you're controversial.
Yeah, I mean, also we're in DC. We are friends with people.
Oh,
on Trump.
right. Yeah, it's.
I think a lot of mutual respect, and also, people gossip.
do you guys?
That's
Yeah,
funny.
can you guys give us any
Yeah, give us the gossip.
You don't have to out anybody.
No,
but
totally out them.
give us like a little something.
We didn't discuss this in advance, but we were okay with it.
You're not prepared. Is this one of the? Is this one of
Stop
the?
is selling these stickers for $1 to $2 if you're interested in supporting their fund.
They've made no money on them, I don't think. They have stacks. I live with a truck stop player, and they are just stacks of these
What do
sitting
we
around
think
our
about the
house.
green jerseys? Are the green
so-
jerseys or the Flames worse? I'm going Flames. Sorry.
What do you think? Oh
Hmm.
no! Wait,
I'll
which
take the
ones
green
are the
jersey.
green ones?
They have
The truck stop greens.
Yeah.
They're like
Like the green
and
with the
yellow.
purple and gold.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think the green's worse.
they're yikes. You think the greens are worse?
Yeah, lean in. I feel like the
Yeah.
flame is like a lean into like the comedy of it,
Mhm.
and the greens is like trying to be a real jersey.
There's another team
Here's my take on them. I think they're both ugly in their own way, but I think it's like it's ugly cool. I love
cool.
ugly cool.
Okay, we haven't caught up
That's
to that. Yeah.
that's
No.
me personally. Also, I do have one of those stickers on my
Oh my god, you bought one?
on
You
my
got
water
such-
bottle. Hang on. I'll be right back.
No, I can't believe that Quinn has one of those stickers on his water
What a
bottle.
sucker.
We were trying to say how cheap we think they would need to price these for me to buy one, but I think it's $0.
Oh, there's some Bravo ones too.
Did you buy that, Quinn?
Mikey's coming on to cut.
No,
this off.
I got it for free. I got it for free.
No.
You got it for free?
Yeah.
They gotta turn a profit on these things. They're
Troy gave
definitely
it to me.
Troy gave it to you? Wow.
Yeah,
Troy
yeah.
would.
Boy.
Troy would.
Undermining the team finances right there.
Awesome. I kind of want to talk about Worlds a little bit, specifically about just the Columbia games and the rivalry there. How did you all feel after the first game against Columbia at the tournament? Really good game, really close game, and then knowing that you're probably going to see them in finals again. Just kind of the feelings around the team and yourselves after that first game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the initial reaction was like, "Oh shoot, we got to go! Like, we got to get this figured out." Because I think we were aware that we still had some stuff that the team was working through in terms of like playing together and executing certain strategies on both sides of the disc. So, I think that game was a big wake up call for all of us, even though we kind of expected it to be a wake up call in some ways. Like, that wasn't surprising. But it just, there was a new sense of urgency of like, we need to think this through and get it figured out and start playing better if we want to actually win this thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then pre-game for finals, I can only imagine like the nerves. Did you both feel nervous? How was pre-game? And then post game, what was that like? I kind of feel like on the open side, it was like the victory was just kind of like, oh yeah, we did it. It was more just like about the team as opposed to like actually winning, which I have thoughts on, but I'm curious how it was pre-game and then post-game for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm the wrong person to ask because I'm always horrifically nervous before like any major game. So it was pretty par for the course, I think. But we switched from like kind of a pod structure to an OD line structure after losing that Columbia game. And then we played Canada twice, was the only test we'd had for that new structure. So I think some of my nerves anyway were a little bit of like, all right, we're going to like, we implemented a new strategy and like, I think we as a team were aligned on like, that was what we wanted to be doing and something we thought was going to be effective, but we hadn't really tested it except against one team. And so I think some of my anxiety, especially like being on, different people, was around like we knew Colombia was going to give us a really good game, and we were in some ways trying like a brand new thing. You're always nervous, but also kind of fun. And then, we played that game, and it was maybe one of the most up and down games that I've played in a long time, in terms of like you're up 2, then they're up 2 and back and forth. And then just kind of we pulled it out. I don't know. It's kind of a blur to me. It was kind of a shock, honestly. Cause I remember something at like 11-10 being like, and we didn't get a really crucial break or something.
Yeah. I think we were on the end zone line.
Yeah. And we like turned it over and they score. And it was like, that was the chance, I think was the feeling a little bit. But then like people rose to the occasion, and like Sadie had that crazy grab with the hug from Dawn, and then we punched that one in to win, and like all of a sudden it was just over. And I actually think it was like a little almost anticlimactic in some way, because the like all that anxiety of that moment, and then all of a sudden it's just like you did it, you sealed it, it's done, you locked it in, and this team is now like done forever. And so like I think I like kind of had a little bit of a like backlash from that, even in that moment of being like, wow, that was intense, and we fell off a cliff, and now here we are, kind of.
Yeah, I remember watching the game. It was one of the most epic games that I've ever gotten to like view in person, for sure. And then it almost felt like when you all won, half the team like didn't know.
That is correct.
Okay.
I knew.
There was like 5 people that were like, "Oh my god, we won," and then everybody else was just like ready for the next point.
Yeah. I turned around.
Yeah, you were yelling. Yeah.
Sam catches it right on the end zone line, and I'm the next person, but she's in, and so I was like, am I about to catch this? And then it's in, and then I turned around and I made eye contact with Mex, and I was like, "Is that it? Like, is it over?" And Mex was like, "Yeah, it is." And then everyone else is piling, and I'm on top of Mex, like over in the corner, being like, "We did it! Thank goodness!" Yeah. But I think a lot of people didn't. I don't think the coaches told us that the cap had gone on. Yeah,
that's a bold strategy. Claire, I'm also curious. You matched up with Manu a lot during that game. I'm curious what that's like. It looks really fun to me. I'm curious, kind of from your perspective.
Yeah. So Manu and I have been matching up on each other since we were 16. So we have like a lot of history going back, and it has been like an absolute delight. For one, like we're good friends. I like have a ton of respect for her. It's been like a pinnacle of my career in many ways, like over and over again. That's not quite the right word, but whatever. Like I remember, this is not quite answering your question, but I'll get to it. Like I remember after my first U20 cycle in Poland in like 2017 or whatever, Manu and I were like on Facebook Messenger being like, "Who's playing?" Like that kind of thing. And I remember we signed off. It's like burned into my memory because she was like already a legend at that point. And we like signed off, and she was like, "See you at U24s next year." And I remember being like, "What? Like, no way. I'm like 6'17". I was like, "No way I'm making that." The only person who's been like not in college and made that in the last 10 years is Jack. And that was like an anomaly. And I just, when I think about that, and like, in some ways, like she has believed in me more than I've believed in myself, which is like a really incredible thing in an opponent. And so I have really actually like cherished our matchups. Like I think she's won some. I think I've won some. We'll add this one to the list in terms of, I thought that one was actually like pretty evenly matched. Like I thought she got some on me and I got some on her, and it challenges me, and I think it makes me better. And it's fun to do with someone who I have so much respect for, and like feel like we always have a really good back and forth.
Yeah, that was a perfect answer. And I'm sure we're going to see it at Nationals this year coming up here, which is a great segue into kind of some Nationals talk for this year. How is Scandal feeling? What are the team vibes like? Just generally going into Nationals, how are you guys preparing? Things like that.
A lot of strategy meetings, a lot of hours on Zoom, talking strat.
Watching film. Yeah, there's a lot to do.
Yeah. Well, but I think we talked about this a little bit before, and I think like the women's division is very much on a upwards trajectory in terms of depth and competitiveness and parity. And I think it's true for probably every team, Scandal included, that like the ceilings are high, but you have to show up and perform and like have a good tournament and play well if you want to go far. And I believe in like Scandal's capacity to do that. And also like it's not a given that you show up and do it. So I think like we're doing everything we can to cover our bases, do our due diligence to prepare and be in the best position to show up. But I think it will be like kind of on every individual to like decide how much they want it and go after it. And
yeah. Excited but urgent.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
more succinct.
absolutely.
No.
For those strategy meetings, is it whole team thing or is it committee based? How do y'all do that?
Yeah, our structure is we have our two coaches, Ty and Kath, and then we have 3 captains who handle a lot of the culture stuff, admin, logistics, and then Claire and I are part of the strategy committee, which is the 2 coaches and us, and then the captains supplement that as well. So those calls are like 6 people deep.
Yeah.
I can imagine those, like when we do those, I swear we go over time by hours, like every single time. But
yeah, we meet. Last year we were a little bit less consistent with it. This year we have met for like 1.5 to 2.5 hours every single Monday for like 6 months or something. Like stupid like that. Yeah.
Lots to talk
Lots. We analyze in depth. Maybe too much.
any specific matchups that you're analyzing a lot from your pool? Bent, Schwa, Parcha, anything you're highlighting? Any matchups you're looking forward to personally or, team wide?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as Claire was saying, the division, there's now so much parity, and with this new random draw or Swiss draw.
Yeah.
We can't, before you could start earlier in the scouting and the preparing because you kind of knew where things were going to fall. And now we have to do a lot more of that, but in a much shorter period of time. So we're doing a lot of that for a lot of different teams because there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out for us. In terms of like who we're excited to face, I think we're really excited to see Bent in pool play. I think for Claire and I, we weren't there at Pro Champs where the team was able to play Bent twice in 2 really close games. But we were there for a US Open matchup that was kind of earlier in the season. And so we know that they're going to be an even more like polished form. And given that we've played each other 3 times, but like with very different rosters and players missing at times, I think it'll be a really great matchup to kind of end the pool play day.
Yeah. And we haven't seen Schwa yet. Scandal has played Schwa in pool play, I think, the last 2 years as well. So that's kind of like a fun history. And so we have a little bit of experience with them like a year ago, but we have not had a head-to-head matchup this season. So that should also be pretty interesting. And yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
I'm wondering who you 2 view as the best teams in the division and maybe the biggest threats to winning a championship, just because the rankings are a little weird this year with Worlds happening at Pro Champs. And so I think it's not as easy to tell which teams, are the favorites. And I'm just curious, like, who you guys are circling on the mystery schedule that is like the brackets, and like who you think, if you win a championship, you'll have to go through, that kind of stuff.
It's so hard with the Swiss draw, which I'm sure you are also experiencing some with Bravo right now. Aren't you all in like pool C of death?
Pool C looking tough.
It's in both
No,
divisions.
we talked to Pavel. Actually, Pool A is the pool of death.
Yeah, Pavel thinks it's Pool A. So.
And then Pool C is the pool of like near death, but not the pool of death.
Okay.
I don't know if you all listened to the Out the Back where Pavel was like the guest and drafted on behalf of Machine. They like did a simulated draft and he drafted a pool and it was crazy. It was like every hardest team you could possibly draft, he drafted. I didn't know if it was a joke or not.
That's funny.
So-
I do think we were saying with Pavel, like, I do think there's a lot of advantages to having a really hard pool. I mean, obviously, we're not quite at the point yet where if you're a 1 seed, the pool is so hard where you're thinking about not making it to bracket play, like you're losing all 3 games. But I do think like you want to get tested early in the tournament so that, because there's just so much, it's weird with the style and how we play that there's so much improvement that a team can make over the first few days. And it's like a lot of sports where the team that's hitting their stride at the right time usually, is successful. It doesn't necessarily mean you're the best team in the world always, but the best team that weekend. And usually that team has played like some really difficult games and has gotten a lot better from them. So I do think you want a difficult pool, all that to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong. I think often the most like adaptable team wins nationals. The most like who can adjust, who can, make the right correction at the right time for the defense they haven't seen yet or the unexpected thing. Which might be a way of like adjudicating on which teams are the most dangerous, like who has the most capacity for adjustment. But
at the same time, you want to have legs. So I think you want to have a hard pool, but you want to be able to, maybe not every game needs to be hard.
yeah, Scandal's roster is 23 this year. So we are
Something we're conscious of.
A little bit, a little bit tighter maybe than in terms of numbers than some of the other rosters.
Yeah.
But
yeah, most dangerous teams, I mean, like Fury's beaten us every time we've matched up this season. And they're coming in as the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they're Fury, who has
decades of experience winning
millions of national championships.
Yeah. There's something to be said for like winning begets winning, especially at these things. So
yeah. Brute for similar reasons of just they know how to win. You never quite know these days what you're going to get in the regular season and then get at nationals. Those things can look very different.
Yeah.
And they beat us last year. So
yeah, I know Molly Brown's at 6, but I still think Molly Brown is no one to scoff at. I mean, the twins, Claire, the ceiling is really high. They've won recently. They have the strategy brains for it, I think.
Yeah. Colorado,
yeah, gotta
all that excellence there.
This is just we're just brown nosing with our host here. Just kidding. Yeah.
But then there's like Phoenix and Flipside and Bent,
and
Sixers, and all of whom could make some noise. So far gone are the days when we played Brute, or at least when I played Brute for many years, it was like you could almost guarantee if you played like yourselves at all that the 4 teams in the semis would be the 4 you expected, and that's just no longer true.
Yeah, the year I played for Riot when I was still in high school, they lost for like the first time. They didn't make it to the semis for the first time in 16 years, which to me is like unfathomable right now.
Wait,
I'm like,
really?
In 2018, no, 2017. I played in 2018 for reals. In 2017, they lost in like a universe loss or something to Ozone, I think. And it was the first time in 16 years they hadn't been in a semi, which is crazy. When I think about that now, I'm like, maybe Fury has a run like that still, but none of the other teams do. Yeah.
That's insane. Like they were making semis when I was like 2. And then that's
winning, but making semis.
Yeah, making semis,
Well, they won a couple. They also have the most biggest comeback of all time against them.
Oh, yeah.
10-1 against Fury in Sarasota.
Yeah.
To lose.
Brutal. Can't imagine.
Wait, I didn't know about that either.
Yeah.
Quinn, go look up this game.
This is history.
Yeah,
how can you be a podcaster in Ultimate
Yeah,
Frisbee and not know
on.
history? No, yeah. Sarasota in 2000 something, in the early, it was either the early 2010s or it was the late, like, single digit 2000s. And, it was Fury versus Riot. Riot was up 10-1 or 10-2 and then lost.
Fury through this zone that apparently Riot couldn't figure out. And it
for 14 points.
There's some segment on Ulti World where Miranda comes on behalf of Riot because she was playing in that game, and Maddie Sang is like commentating the game on behalf of Fury, and they watch it together and give their takes.
That's funny.
talk through the memories. Bold of Miranda. I would be too salty at that point.
15 later,
15 years later, I'd still be. No,
That's insane. So you think Pool C is kind of the pool of death per se? You're saying that Molly Brown as a 2 seed obviously is tough, and then Sixers as a 3 seed seems also tough.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think nobody wanted to draw Molly as the 2 seed.
Yeah. It was like in the men's division, like Pony as a 3 seed is like what are we doing here? So
yeah.
It's pretty strong, doing everyone so dirty. Although I think that they would have ended up in Pool C with a normal snake too, right? Because they're 6.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
guess.
4.
Sounds right.
It does sound. Yeah, that does sound right.
So they're,
What do you all think about the Swiss draw?
yeah.
Are you
good
fans?
question.
They always say the players love it. We hate it. So we're the players that love it. It's not
I'm
me.
indifferent. I kind of like the excitement of like, you don't know. Like I do kind of enjoy that aspect of the draw happening and getting to watch the revealing.
That over draft, because that could be exciting too.
How does the draft? How does that work? I don't know that.
1 through 4 get in pools and they pick.
And how do you decide who goes first? The one overall seed?
Podcast.
Well, I think like 1 picks first, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then
And one picks. Okay, so like one would pick the 16 seed. You would.
Yeah, I mean the one that Ulti World proposed was like the top 4 teams draft the whole pool. But I think you could do one where the top 4 teams draft the second pot, and the second pot drafts the third pot, and then the third pot drafts the fourth pot.
Interesting.
That would be what I would do.
I guess
And
like
you
the
could
one
do
drawback is
you could bring us on, and we could draft and have the scandal.
the draft sounds really weird. I guess that there isn't a lot of benefit to being a 1 seed with the Swiss draw. Like, it's like you're not really earning like an easier road or anything. So
Yeah,
there's that
regular
con.
season in general is pretty disincentivized.
Yeah, like what is the point of the regular season, to be honest?
Yeah, especially in a season like this where some of the tournaments were a little wonky, and I don't know how they weighted it in the rankings, but like with teams like Molly Brown, who I think probably most people would agree could very easily be a 1 through 4, ending up in that second pot because of 8 of their players being at Worlds and whatnot. Like throws a little bit of an additional wrench on top of the standard.
That's why I like it, just random. It's all random anyway. Just let it be random. The Swiss draw is fun. I would even go just full on, no buckets, just random. Yeah, like you just get like a truck, pony, machine, dig pool.
So sick.
Because like, how exciting would that be? I know it would suck to be the team that gets out.
No, dude.
It'd be exciting. I don't know. You can complain about anything. It'd be fun.
How about the men's division test drives that next
I
year?
love that. I'm so down.
The rest of us can decide based on how that goes whether or not we would like to opt in.
Yeah, we could be the lab rats. I'm definitely in on that. One question I did think about while you were talking is you said you only have 23 players on the roster, and you mentioned legs, and it's such a big part of the tournament is being the best, in the latest games, but also you can't take it too easy earlier in the tournament. I'm just curious, your two, and like Cammie, we can start with you, your mindset on balancing conservation of energy early in the tournament with having to win the point or the matchup or the game that you're in early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we think very carefully about. We spend a lot of time thinking about what that balance is and how to achieve it. You can only control so much with it, but I definitely think when we put lines out, we're trying to be intentional. We're trying to make sure that games, we're efficient with games while being able to distribute it across our entire roster. And we're lucky to have a team who's super deep. Even with even with a small number, like our talent goes through that full 23. And so I think we're lucky to be on a team where we can put out a lot of different bodies and make sure that load is shared.
Yeah.
So as a player, if you're on the field, you're just going as hard as possible, or is there any part of you that saves a little bit for later in the tournament?
Oh, interesting.
Or is your energy output when you're on the field the same in pool play as it is for like quarters? Or do you think about changing your play style a little bit later in the tournament?
I think Claire and I only have one speed, and that is fast. But, yeah, I don't think. I mean, I jog down on a pole a good amount, but that's across the board. Like,
She's the deep help, you know.
Me too.
I think conserving energy is one of my greatest ultimate strengths. Like knowing when to on the field.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But,
for sure.
But I don't think that changes from pool play to bracket. I mean, bracket, I think there's like more adrenaline and more urgency, so we're probably naturally going to play harder. But we're two that just want to win every single competition, every point, every matchup. So we kind of go hard all the time, even when we maybe should.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know about shouldn't, because I feel like you're asking your teammates to put out maximal effort at every stage to get the team through. And you have to win every single game. Well, maybe not every single game, but you have to win like a critical mass of games in order to advance, in order to succeed, in order to get all the way to the end. So I just think it would be, and I think you probably feel similarly, like kind of hypocritical to be like, oh, can you, like, I'm going to be out there and take playing time or whatever, but like not put in maximal effort. Because I kind of am like, if I'm going to ask you to do that, then I'm going to meet you with like that or more. Otherwise, it's just like that to me is like, that's team first. And
yeah, and effort's a big value on Scandal specifically.
Yeah. So no,
but, you'll see us out there grinding.
Yeah. Maybe too hard, but we'll be there.
Yeah, you talk about like the effort level. And Cammie, when you said you jog down on poles, whenever I cross over to D-line, I am dogging it out. I'm dogging it off the pole. And then my guy's like the first guy to, of course, like catch it. I'm just like, well, I just completely let them run their pole play really easily. Claire, I know we talked about.
No way.
Claire, I know we talked about matchups that you're like Manu in that matchup. Cammie, I'm curious who your favorite matchup is, who you're looking forward to matching up with, whether it's in pool play or in the bracket on like a one versus one level.
Yeah. I might need your help on this. Who have I said? I will say Blaze played for us last year and is now on, and she played O-line for us, and she's now on Molly Brown, and at least at US Open was playing D-line, and we're very similar. Our styles are very similar. We're very slight, fast, defensive first kind of players. So that was a fun matchup at US Open. Plus I just love Blaze. So that would be another matchup I would look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we guard so many different people on our D line that we just don't. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for kind of like specific rivalries or something to that.
I think the reality is like Cammie is one of our like most versatile defenders, and so we kind of use you to plug gaps. Like there will be people who are like, we have a couple of like incredible handler defenders, and they're so sick. And I won't name names because I don't want to give anyone the inside scoop on Scandal's defense, but like, and so. Yes, say they're on like, and you're on with them. I feel like then we're like, all right, well then someone's got to take the very best cutter, and so we put Cammie there, or like you're on with two of the like best cutter defenders, and then the reverse is true. So I feel like we don't necessarily give you the luxury of getting to learn on someone and play the whole game, and we just throw you on someone and then you succeed, and that's like Cammie's superpower, kind of.
Thanks. I'm glad you think that. I don't always think that, but yeah, Ella Jungs is maybe another that comes to mind.
Oh. That's not a matchup you'd think off the top, because you're way taller than Ella too. So that's
how tall do you
right?
think Cammie is?
Oh, wow.
Cammie, aren't you taller than Ella?
Solid. Well,
Cammie
yes,
is
but
like
it's like a solid
5'4".
2 inches.
Oh, really? Is that it? I see Ella as like, maybe like 4'11". Maybe that's my
crazy.
Well, I mean, Durs is like 4'11" too, so it's just like they're both,
True.
you're both obviously very, very successful in your careers. Curious kind of for aspiring players, advice you have. What do you think has, led to such successful careers so far? Claire or Cammie, I don't know who wants to start, but it's kind of a hard question, but just kind of whatever comes to mind.
Sure. I think something I've talked about with both Cammie and Ty is like the external validation is like great and it's fun and it's like exciting and it's cool to make teams and it's cool to win championships. But I think like my personal recipe for success, and I think what I see reflected in other players that I've had the privilege to play with, is like the consistency of having like incredibly high standards for yourself, taking reps and opportunities to get better very seriously, like not being complacent in like just because you're playing at a certain level or playing at a certain scrimmage or whatever it is, like those are valuable opportunities to work on things. And so like I think alongside that like high standard for excellence for yourself is also like the goal setting element of that, and being like, I want to get better at this thing, and so I'm going to like make time to get better at it and make opportunities, even if it's not the drill at practice, but hey, there's an offensive drill and I'm going to play 100% defense on the thing I'm working on, because like that's how you actually get better. And so I think like holding yourself to that, and it's like mentally challenging, is I think a crucial part of like maximizing your potential.
Yeah, I'll add on to that by saying I don't feel like everyone always appreciates how much work it takes to truly be great or to maximize your potential. And it really does take doing all of the little things. And so like film is a big component, like doing confidence conditioning or visualization to work on the mental game. And this is kind of bouncing off something Claire said, but like I think finding someone who can push you to really be better has been really valuable for my career. Like on Brute Squad, it was Leanne Hoffman. I was very close with her and was able to watch her be excellent. And we were able to kind of like push each other to new heights together. And like Claire has been that for me in this stage of my career. And I just think I probably wouldn't have gotten where I got to without that. So I think, it's not always within your control to find that person, but when it happens, like making sure you take advantage of the opportunities to learn from that person and to really challenge each other at every stage.
That's awesome. I like those a lot.
Okay, cool. Do you guys, I didn't prep you for this, but we've been doing this segment called, we've been doing, we did Nationals previews last year, and the segment is called Finer Things, and it's after my last name, so it's my segment. And it's basically like a really small either thing or experience in your life that makes a big difference, or that's really, really pleasurable. A good example, I think when they're weirder, they're better. So I'll give an example of my like one that I give for people to kind of think about. It's weird, but like it doesn't have to be Frisbee related either, to preface, but this one is. So I go to the fields and I wear Crocs at the fields, and I'll put my Crocs in the sun so that they sit in the sun for however long I'm playing for. Usually tournaments 6-8 hours, whatever. And when I take my cleats off, my Crocs are really malleable, really squishy, really warm. And so I put my feet in them and it's awesome. It's amazing. But do you both have any off the top of your head? Of course I didn't prep you. We usually prep prior, but I didn't. So, yeah.
I can only think of one thing.
Okay. That's more than I can. That's more than I can.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay. I am I feel like I'm a big feeler. And if I don't like let some of that off, my stress levels about Frisbee or life get really, really high. And so I don't know if this really fits the prompt, but whatever. So I feel like the finer things that I do is I watch videos of people who work really hard finding success in like sporting context, like the Olympics, really good for me. But like the little like pieces on them, or like another one is like people on like singing contest shows, like finding success, and I just sit there and I cry. And I watch them and I just cry, and I feel like it's like cathartic, and I like actually like kind of enjoy it. So every once in a while, I just like I'm like YouTube, and then I like watch these videos, and I just saw.
That's awesome. That's so good.
And then it takes the edge off the strong feelings and things. So that's kind of nice too. So.
Okay. That's funny. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I watch like Michelle Kwan figure skating routine.
That would probably make me cry.
Well, yeah, that would make me cry. Oh, incredible athlete. Yeah. It's like I'm inspired. Or horse racing.
I was gonna say Cammy's
Secretariat, greatest athlete of all time. Horse racing bad. I'm not advocating for horse racing. I think it's problematic. But
when we lived together, she made us watch Secretariat, me and Lizzie, and that was her tagline. She was like, "We're about to watch a movie about the greatest athlete of all time," and it was Secretariat. It was so funny. I tell people about that often.
He cooked.
He did cook.
Still
Still holds all the records. I looked that up recently.
That's really hilarious.
I think that's the only thing I want to offer into the world.
Okay. I think I cried a little bit during
milk.
Secretariat.
Whole milk. Are you
Whole
like
milk
whole
and-
milk?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm big milk girl. And
So
whole milk
Midwest
is the Midwest.
You and Troy ever share a glass of milk? I know Troy is a big.
We were just talking about this.
Yeah, I think
Really?
Troy and I are counterparts, like women's division, men's division.
Yeah, no,
Or like
we've discussed that,
kindred spirits. Yeah,
didn't we? Oh no, that was Jack Hatcher.
yeah, or Jack Hatchet.
We
Shout out to
do
Jack
a fun
Hatchet.
little thing that here, this can be your thing. I'll
Yeah.
share it for you. We do a fun little thing where it's like, who is your men's division counterpart?
Do you not remember us doing this at Worlds when we got gelato, or you just completely forgot
Oh,
about
we did
the
do
moment
that
we
with you.
shared?
I only remember
You
heckling you.
completely
I also forgot that. Okay, well,
You were invited,
people of
we
this
had
podcast don't know that we do this fun activity, so but we do. Yeah, yeah, we did. That's funny. So I think Cammy's is Jack Hatchet, or maybe
Maybe
also
not
Troy.
Yeah,
Troy's a good one.
that also fits. Yeah.
Do you have one for Kins? I'm trying to think of one for Kins.
Whose is yours, Claire?
I think we decided with Quinn that it was maybe Chris Crotcher.
Oh, okay.
Is that what we decided?
Or Jack
Yeah.
Williams.
Jack Williams.
Is-
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Either
I
of
said Jack Williams is what I said would be yours.
I think Jack said Hatchet, said Chris at one point.
Okay.
So those were both in contention.
Yeah.
So
Those are good.
Send
Those
me
are
a
good
text.
comps.
Those are good ones.
yeah.
Would you like Lisa P for kids?
But I feel like it's too easy. It's too right. You gotta make a deeper cut, you know?
Yeah.
I don't actually know that I know you well enough.
Yeah, can you
Kim.
describe your
Yeah.
game?
Give us a little 30 second
Well,
elevator.
Yeah.
Well,
Kins, describe
we'll
your
have to-
game. I'm really curious
No,
about this. Yeah.
no,
Come on.
I
let's
don't
do
want
it.
to. I'm not describing my game. I refuse. I think we're not going to get a good answer in 5 seconds. We really got to put more time
don't
and
think
thought
so?
into it. No, I don't.
I'm going to
think so.
interject. This is a good segment. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
No,
Let's do this.
We want to know, Kins. The viewers want to know.
Kins is tall, spicy. He is
This is not a dating profile, Mike.
tall, spicy.
tall, spicy, drinking water. Glass of milk.
Not a huge milk drinker, so that definitely cuts it down.
Maybe Lisa then. If Lisa is tall.
Could be
Are you a good
Lisa.
hugger?
It could be
Lisa who? Lisa P.
Lisa P.
You're a good hugger? I feel like Lisa P. Great hugger.
Kins is a good hooker.
Could be Lisa for sure.
You guys are
Okay.
both like hybridy as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
This is a
huge
good one.
compliment to you.
Yeah.
That's a huge
I could see him
compliment to you.
kick spiking before he's in the inside.
Okay, you can only say that because that happened when you were playing them. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Cut that, Mikey. Cut that.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think Lisa P is a good one.
I feel good about Lisa off the top of it. We'll stick with
We can
that. What
think about
about
it
Quinn's? We're not doing one for Quinn.
Twins.
Well, do you remember what you all said at Worlds. It was very flattering for me.
We only remember heckling you.
We
Yeah,
only
clearly,
wrote
yeah.
you got us on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Not on our own merit, but on our heckling. No, I don't remember. I have an idea, but let's see if it's what we said when we were there. Go
Okay.
ahead, tell us.
Chastain.
Yeah, that's what you said. You said Chastain, which is very flattering to me, in my opinion.
I was maybe Leanne.
Oh,
I was going to say Leanne Hoffman. Was the other one I was thinking
also
of.
flattering.
Also
to you.
flattering to you.
Also, yes. Is Leanne?
Like the really incredible O-line lockdown player, but really excellent at defense, fast, great thrower.
I'll take it. I'll take it all day.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Lisa P for not being able to play the Worlds tournament, which was crushing for us, especially when we went O-line, D-line, because we probably would have gotten to play with her on O-line. But just being the best teammate and sideline presence.
Yeah, she was really awesome.
Flattering to you as well, Kens.
Yeah,
Yep.
double flatter.
No, I mean, that all makes sense. Like, didn't play Worlds, great teammate presence. Like, the connections are
Perfect.
They just keep coming up more and more.
I have one more question for Cammy and Claire.
Nice.
Kind of on the this similar vein, and you were just talking about Worlds and lack of Worlds playing. Both of you have played World Games or have been a part of that team, and can you talk a little bit about what it takes, if there are any differences between the World Ultimate Championship tryout process versus World Games, and what Maddie's saying maybe means to you and or the sport as a leader and coach?
You want me to go? I can take the tryout one.
Okay, go try. I'll talk to them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Claire and I are, again, Claire said that anxiety is something we can roll with often. So like tryouts are probably, they're things we take very seriously. And I think both of them feel very hard and competitive. And so like this time around, it felt grueling and we never feel like safe in a spot or anything. And it's, hours and hours of just really hard competition and trying to show what you can do. So I think that goes across both of those tryouts. I think the real difference with World Games, at least the last time we did it, is like the 2 tryout format, where it was winnowed down to a smaller group for the second tryout. I remember that making the second tryout just feel even more, competitive. There was nowhere to hide. And you're just playing mixed the whole time, which is the other, I think, significant difference and brings its own challenges, especially for us who play primarily single gender. Both really fun experiences, challenging in their own ways. But definitely World Games, it's kind of its own unique yeast in a sense.
Yeah. And it's just kind of a pressure cooker, those tryouts, I think. I mean, both of them, both sets, but the World Games in particular, there's really nowhere to hide in a pool of 30 people. If you're like feeling a little off, if like, it's a little windy and you don't feel great about your around backhand.
I remember very vividly, we did like a force middle defensive drill where it was like 1v1 out in space. And a lot of tryouts, like Claire and I can avoid matching up on each other if we don't want to, because there's so many people. So you can kind of have, if you don't want to match up against your teammate, there's probably other people to match up against. But I remember us having to go out there and like compete very directly against each other, which is fun, but it's weird. It's more weird and like, well, for me, very unpleasant. But
for both of us, trust me. But it's also a huge privilege, right? Like, I don't think either of us takes any of that for granted. And like, for me, and I think probably also for you, like I have so many friends from having gotten the opportunity to play on a lot of different club teams and national teams across the country, and in the WUC setting, you have the East Coast and West Coast, so I don't actually see, you only see half the pool until the team is made. And so the really, like, I think kind of like special thing about the World Games is like everyone is in the one tryout format. And I think for me, that's like fun and exciting. And you get to like do tryouts with people you almost never get to try out for national teams with, which, you know, can be a boon and also a burden depending on how your day is going at the tryouts. Yeah. And then Maddie. Oh yeah. Actually, Maddie, I think I've only been coached. Is that correct? Yeah, because of pandemic things in the World Games format. But I don't think anyone would disagree with me that he is, you know, a pinnacle. That's the correct use of that word this time. Of the like world's community. Yeah, he's just been a part of so many of these teams, and I think like Maddie's one of his superpowers, of which there are many, including winning national titles and world's titles, is I think a lot of like the culture things he's like really incredible at. And he's like really good at finding how people fit into culture and saying the right thing to like at the right time to get a group of people aligned towards a common goal. And I really think that has been something that I've learned a lot from watching him do it, that I've tried to bring back to my teams, and I've been like lucky to be a part of. And I'm like a little jealous that the Furies get it all the time, even though I do love Ty. Yeah, so I think he's just been like really integral to a lot of that success in that way. On top of course, the like, you know, however many years, I'm not even going to guess, of like strategy and other like Frisbee specific skill knowledge. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think he's also like super friendly. So I think everyone should like go out of their way to meet him and like talk to him. And he is like super open to having conversations with anybody about like their club teams, their own experience and things like that. And I think he often has really excellent insight. And so, sorry, Matt, if you get like inundated by people because of this, but yeah, I think he's like a pretty unique mind in a lot of ways because of all the different opportunities he's had to coach different people at different levels. I mean, he coaches like he's like the World Games coach, and he like runs his like middle school program in San Francisco. So like, he's literally coaching like at all levels of the game and like involved at all levels, and so like has so much perspective, and then he's like really willing to share with people. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to like sit down and have a coffee with him or something, I pick his brain. I recommend it. He's really great.
We actually had him on the podcast, and it was an amazing episode. If you haven't listened, yeah. But
I was not surprised. Every word is pretty darn insightful.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, Cammie, Claire, thank you both so much for coming on, and looking forward to seeing you both again at Nationals coming up here.
Yeah, for sure.
Same.
Yeah. Should be fun. Good luck in the pool of near death.
All right, welcome back to another Nationals preview episode with the San Francisco Fury players, KJ and Skittles. How are we both doing today? Both of you.
I'm doing well, although I keep thinking it's Thursday, which is a big bummer that it's only Wednesday. But otherwise, I'm doing great.
Why? Why do we want it to be Thursday?
Closer to the weekend, closer to my days off for Nationals.
City pod.
Skittles, yeah.
Do you guys do pod on Thursdays?
Do you guys have pod practice?
On
In
Tuesdays
real life.
and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
In real life, yeah. We'll be
Nice.
there tomorrow morning.
Yep, Denver.
Oh, morning. You guys do morning.
Yeah.
How do you
Field
swing
Space
that?
Field Space is a hot commodity in the Bay Area.
That makes sense.
What time is your
gotta
pod?
go.
What time's your pod practice?
6:45.
Whoa, that is, dude. That makes me sad only because we could never get
Our team could never do that.
the freaking Boulder kids to show up to any field, even if the field was their front yard, they would not come to 6:45 pod, and that frustrates me. So maybe we'll have to share this because that's the kind of commitment you need to be successful repeatedly at this level. Is 6:45 morning pod. What kind of stuff do you guys do at pod?
Well, at City Pod, it's warm up on your own. It's a very fun little slow vibe in the morning, and then we throw. Depends on if people have to leave early. Otherwise, we'll jump right into mini, or we'll do some drills. But drills and mini, and personalized hucking at the end, and then
touches,
treats.
A lot of skills. Treats. What do you get for
Most
treats?
important part.
Do you get Skittles? Do you get Skittles? Is that okay? Is that how'd you get the?
Can we get into that?
I got.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, and then I have my breakfast of Skittles in a bowl.
With milk.
Milk optional. Yeah.
I got my nickname from Superfly, Stanford, my college teammates, and I have no idea why.
Nice.
So they know, I'm sure. I've like guessed, like my initials are MMs, like M&Ms. I had rainbow cleats when I started playing.
Okay.
Well, that's a good one. Taste the rainbow. Mm.
Yeah. But I don't really like Skittles that much. I don't like red Skittles. But I like the name, especially because my name's McKinley, and like that's a harder name to remember. So it's kind of refreshing to have like a word people know. That's my name.
I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna forget your name because it's too mix. Like that, I'll never forget it. And I saw your name. And I'm like, wow, McKinley McQuaide. Like too mix to start the name. It's crazy. I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So let's start with, and Skittles, since we're talking about you, we'll start with you first. Can we just get a rundown, a little background, where you're from, how your story of getting to Fury.
Yeah, I'm from SoCal, from San Clemente, which is like a beach town halfway between LA and San Diego. How did I start playing Frisbee? I found it at Stanford. Okay, I had like a few run-ins before I like got into it. Like Elliot Chartok introduced me to it when he was my RA at a summer camp, when I was visiting Stanford in like 2013 or something. And I was like, what is this game? And he was playing on Blood at the time, and then like didn't play, and then came in as a freshman and almost played, and then tore my MCL doing something unrelated. I was like throwing this large man, and I didn't play. And then in grad school, I was like, you know what, like I should do it. And I like went and tried out, and that was like 3 years ago. And so,
wow.
Then played on Superfly, and like got coached from the get-go by Robin, who's like the best ever. And like that was really helpful to just like have no bad habits, and then have Robin like sculpt me however she wanted. And then played Mischief and Sunshine, and then Fury this year.
And this is your first year on Fury.
Yes.
Awesome.
I am a rookie, baby dragon.
What's your background in sports? Did you play a different sport prior? I'm assuming yes.
Yeah. never
throwing a large man.
If you're throwing large men, then you probably played.
I did. I played basketball, and I did like a lot of martial arts, which is, I don't know how much that translates to like an extremely non-contact sport, but you know, people are making really bad calls, then it's relevant.
Just jockeying for position and stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you know, generally carrying your body around and athleticism, I guess.
Yeah. Sure. Maneuvering in a space with another person. It all translates.
Yeah.
What about you, KJ? What's your life story?
Well, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and I had an anatomy teacher at my high school, Java, who convinced me to come out to a Frisbee practice. He actually started cut camp before Goose and Kayla took it over. So that was my intro. Wow. Goose actually coached me, the first team I ever played with.
Wow.
And then I went to Boulder and played 5 years for Quandary, Sco Buffs. And played a few years of Molly while I lived there, and then moved out to the Bay for work, and been on Fury since 2018.
Sick. Yeah, we got 3 buffaloes in the call and 1 non-buffalo.
And 1 tree.
Yeah. Sweet. So, I mean, kind of jumping into nationals coming up here. curious about y'all's thoughts on your pool. You got Flipside in your pool, which I think is really exciting, kind of like a rivalry there. But just kind of general thoughts on your pool, what you're looking forward to. KJ, you can kind of start, and then we'll toss it over to Skittles.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have the Flipside matchup circled on their calendar for Thursday afternoon. And I think we're excited. We played a close game with them at regionals, and I think kind of to our own fault. So we're looking forward to improving on that. And then, I think Traffic is definitely not a team to be overlooked. They kind of haven't been to anything. They came to PEC, but with Worlds happening, they didn't go to anything else. So who knows what they look like?
Yeah.
And then Nemesis, also kind of a question mark. I think we don't usually see them in the regular season. So yeah, we'll see how it looks.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've definitely thought the most about the Flipside game, obviously coming out of the Universe game at regionals. And I think we're definitely excited to kind of play them again. And I mean, they're a great team, and we see a lot of the individual players around a lot. So it's definitely very different from the other two games. And also, having only played at two tournaments in the regular season, I think like it's the first day alone will be like a high percentage of the amount of games that we've played this season. So I think in that way, a lot of it is focusing on us and like just doing the things that we want to do well and focusing less on what the other team's doing. So
is this your first, obviously it's your first nationals with Fury. Is this you went to mixed nationals before? No,
Mischief lost in the game to go to Lawless 2 years ago. And then Sunshine also lost to Lawless last year.
So this is your first club nationals.
This is my first club nationals.
So like, how are we feeling? Like, what are the thoughts? Yeah, it's super exciting. Like, what are the thoughts coming in? Like, how are you preparing yourself mentally and physically?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. I was talking to one of my teammates the other day who was saying like, between now and nationals, I'm not going to get much better. It's just about like making sure I don't get injured or anything like that. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like every day maybe I can get something better between now and then. I'm definitely like nervous but excited. I think I'm less nervous than I expected because I like have so much trust in my teammates that it's like I know I'm nervous for how I individually am going to do, but I'm like we're all going to have each other, and the team just feels so powerful and so strong. And so I'm just like excited to kind of like come in full force and be like, you guys have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah. That's a great mindset to have, especially for your first one. KJ, what's it like to play for Fury with all the expectations that it kind of comes with it, with all the success that you've had in the past as a team? What is that like? And just talk about it a little bit.
I think that we do a very good job of like knowing and honoring our history, but like each year is a new year, and obviously we want to reach the top, but I think going into this year, like we had a newer, like a lot of newer players added to the team, and so it's kind of like, who knows what we're gonna look like. And every year with new players being added, it's like, yeah, we're still awesome, like we're still great. Like we are so lucky to live in a Frisbee hut where we can pull players from colleges or the mixed division, sorry, Polar Bears and Mischief and Sunshine. And so, and I think there's little things that being on a team that has won so many times that are just ingrained into kind of our team culture that you learn once you join. I'm sure Skittles could probably talk a little bit more about this, but there is like really small things like, someone's always doing laundry. Someone is always taking care of like very small, minor things, but make the team work. It's like, okay, you just had, one person made breakfast and then like everyone else is cleaning up, and you almost don't even need to plan ahead for it because someone's just going to take care of it. And I think that is really lucky to not have to like worry about those things. Yeah, I don't know, Skittles, you have new learnings from your first year.
I mean, yeah, it's just drinking from a fire hose. I feel like there's so many things that already exist and like that make everything run smoothly, which is kind of nice. You don't have to figure a lot of like logistics things out because everyone knows the secret entrance to get into the fields at this specific field complex that we played at 3 years ago. And like, you know, there's already a sign up for laundry and things like that. So that's been cool.
The laundry thing is so big. Like, it sounds like just this like little whatever, but like Maddie was one of our teammates was doing laundry at Pro Champs, and it was a big eye opener. And after hearing you guys talk about it, I want to add it into our infrastructure to like make sure that someone is always doing laundry until Bravo doesn't exist as a team, like at every tournament, because it's really beautiful.
Yeah, there is something horrible about going to the fields and like putting on stinky shorts and like a wet jersey, and it's like,
oh my god, it's the. I mean, it's like one of the worst things about any tournament, especially if you're at a hotel. Just like what do you do? What do you guys do? I'm actually curious now. This is a good question. Like, all right, like KJ, what do you do to combat stinky clothing and cleats? And at an Airbnb or at a hotel for like nationals, because nationals we're there for like 4 days. What are we doing to combat just like everything getting overrun by sweaty, gross?
We're doing laundry every day for sure.
And where are we keeping cleats?
I just keep cleats in like a dirty grocery bag, and in my dedicated Frisbee bag, it's already nasty in there. So,
and is that outside or inside?
I just leave it inside in the
closet.
I will say I don't like when I'm in a hotel and it's like a Frisbee hotel and there's just like cleats in the hallway, like, and the hallway is just like.
But doesn't the hallway smell anyway? If we're all
not like that though. It smells crazy when everybody's cleats.
No, dude, we were at Pro Champs and this lady was walking to her room next to ours, and she was like. Yeah. What did she say? Like, it smells really bad in here. And I was like, I'm sorry. She goes, no, you're not. And I was like, okay, all right. I guess not. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm not. I am. I don't know what to do though. What do I do? Like, if someone has a better idea, someone will figure this out one day.
Well, one time when I was on Molly, someone's cleats got stolen from the hallway. And so they had to they like missed warm-ups, maybe missed part of the first round, go buy new cleats that morning. So ever since then, I'm like, absolutely not.
Right. Interesting.
Damn.
Yeah. If I put them in the hallway, I'm just not going to remember. Even though they're in the hall, they're not going to make it. They need to be in the bag the whole time.
This would be a good survey to ask people. Just kind of like how because I know with nationals, like nationals is tough because the first day is so exciting and you're all in an Airbnb and it's like great and we're all in the same place and the tournament is about to happen. And then the first day, like we all come back and we're still in the tournament, probably, unless you lost all your pool games, that would suck. And then like, you know, if you're still in the tournament, it's all magic until you lose. And then you're like, I hate this space that I'm in with no self, like nowhere to be alone. And I'm in a room with like 10 other people all the time and everything's kind of dirty and we're using everything. Anyway, I've had those thoughts before at nationals, but what kind of, so I want to ask both of you about Maddie, and I feel like for you, Skittles, I would just ask, like, what has been your impressions of him as a coach, you know, being this your first year on the team?
Yeah. I mean, I was excited to come in and, like, actually see behind the curtain a little bit, knowing just, like, Maddie as an entity and, like, being a great coach. I think he's definitely more sarcastic than I expected. But I honestly, like struggle to really captured. I just feel like he says the right things in huddles, and it's not like, I don't know. It's like he's often pragmatic about it, but it's like, we're doing this thing totally wrong, and we should stop doing that thing wrong. And we're like, it might be like we may have just broken 3 times in a row, and he'll call a timeout, and he'll be like, "You guys are doing this thing wrong. Like, do it better." And it's like, wow, that's so true. Okay. And so I don't know. It's cool to like see. I don't know. Sometimes it's more motivational than that. It's not just like you're doing something wrong, but those are the times where I really appreciate like, oh, I kind of thought nobody would notice that and just be excited that someone just had a great layout. And he like really quickly cuts past that to like what's most productive for us to hear in that moment to like be getting better. So that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, the art of speaking in a huddle and like saying the right thing that resonates with people is so difficult. Do you have either of you have any thoughts on like how he's able to do that so well? Because I just think that is it's like one of these things. It's like it's so hard to grasp at like why some people are so good at saying something in a huddle that resonates with everyone and like motivates us and does that thing. But do you have like any inclination as to how he's able to, do that so well? Or just like any things you've noticed on like little, techniques that he has to say the right thing? Or is it just magic? It might be magic.
He definitely leans on the same few stories. Not gonna lie.
KJ's like, I've been around the block. Like
he's
the
not
magic
that good. He's not
that good. The story, like we've heard, KJ's like, I've heard this story like 10 times. That's so relatable. Like I was thinking about that the other day. Like at what age? It's like always dads. Like at what age does a dad just start forgetting they've told you a story before and like get to the point where they're just repeating it like 5 times? Because there's definitely a life moment where you become eligible as a dad to retell the same story, and it's like okay because
no one can say shit.
No one's gonna say anything. We're just gonna let Joe tell the story about Susie and the bear like again. I don't know.
Maybe it's not for you, KJ. Only for the new people that haven't heard this.
Right.
Yeah. I do think. Yeah, I think the stories he repeats. Yeah, they're not for me.
and that actually, even like that does make a lot of sense. Like as it's like you're already kind of a part of the culture that the team has like created and like his like main teachings, and it's a lot of it is getting everyone else onto that same page and so the story must be retold.
Yeah, I mean, he often draws on big moments he's been a part of. He likes to talk about like the 2012 finals at Worlds against Japan in Japan. He likes to talk about 2010 Prague Worlds. He likes to draw on similar stories, kind of just be like, yeah, look, there were these huge moments that we've been in and like we weathered the storm both on a winning side and a losing side, and like it's okay. And I think there's one thing I've been thinking about since this past weekend, like at the end of practice, he was kind of just talking about like, look, you have all this pressure on yourself going into the last practices that you're like, I want to be the best ever at this last practice. So I feel so confident going into nationals. He's like, no practice ever going into nationals feels how you want it to be. And, he's been around coaching for 20 plus years now. Like you're going to believe him.
Yeah, that's that hit hard with me. Cause I feel like every year before nationals never fails. The O-line is like,
yeah,
we can't do it. I don't know what we're doing anymore. And it's just
new
like,
O-line.
Yeah.
Week before get someone new in.
And the tournament starts and it's fine. Like it's just like the tendency to just overreact is just like so big in that like 2 weeks before nationals.
Yeah. Yeah, Fury's also pretty big on metaphors, and he likes to lean into metaphors for the season. Yeah. When I think in 2017 they did a puzzle, and he gave a big speech about all the players on the team being a piece in the puzzle.
That's beautiful.
I wasn't there.
Man.
I only hear the lore.
That's beautiful.
When we had him on the podcast, I think he told both the stories about the two games that you
yeah, totally.
But I will say, just being like, he does have like an aura about him. I don't know if it ever wears off, but like every time, like I know he's like around. Like he was around for a lot of the world stuff, and I just like could feel him on the sideline. I just like, you just know he's there. Like he just has this. Yeah,
the force is just like
the
waves, the vibrations
emitting from him.
The force is very strong with him.
Yeah,
definitely.
What are like two or a couple of things that you can't live without? You bring to the field. You're just like maybe it's the candy Skittles. Like I don't know. Okay, I'm done with that joke. But is there something? I don't know. Like I love having candy at the fields. Like I love. Like gummy Skittles. Like gummy Skittles are like one of my favorite candies, like legitimately.
Wow.
And just like something like that. Is there anything weird or anything like that that you guys bring to the fields?
What do I bring to the field?
Cleats, jerseys.
Yeah, what's in the bag? What's in the bag?
Go, baby?
Yeah. Skittles, do you just bring like one of those like drawstring cleat bags that holds like cleats and like that's it? You just like wear the jersey? Like, is that it?
I had a plastic shopping bag,
No.
grocery bag that just had all my stuff in it.
That reminds me of like the people that go to play disc golf with like their little tote bags. And you're like,
Yeah, but I've graduated now. I had to get the patty, but
you have the black hole. Is that is that what you have, KJ? Also a black hole?
I use just like a Patagonia backpack. Just,
Backpack.
yeah, yeah. I like a backpack.
Efficient.
Smaller. Yeah, it helps me not bring as much stuff that I don't need.
Dude, that's so true because the amount of shit I lose in I have like the big cleat bag, and the amount of shit I lose in it, like that's in there, but I can't find it for like 10 minutes is kind of crazy.
I also lose things. Like I found this past weekend an Uncrustable in my
But it had become crusty, I'm guessing. Like it was probably a crustable at that point.
This was just open.
That is it. That's it. That's an elite field food, though. That's a really
So good.
Yeah, that's
so good.
Was it grape? It had to be grape, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
No
Some people go for the strawberry, and I'm like,
something about crust at a tournament. Just like I'm not dealing with your shit today. Crust. I'm battling out here. I don't have time for fucking crust in my life. Yeah.
That's funny. In our Slack, Mikey sent like hey, one of the dads is gonna like go shopping for us pre-tournament. Send what you want.
Shout out Jeff Landisman.
And for like probably 2 days, the only reply in it was just Uncrustables. Like it populated a couple more things, but I think people saw that and were like, okay, we're good. Like nobody else needs to sit.
Uncrustables and like Red Bull. It's like
Red Bull
Frisbee starter pack. It's just what else could you possibly need? An ibuprofen.
Yeah, we love a baby Coke on Fury. People are obsessed. I didn't know how important they were to
baby Coke.
People, but yeah,
just like the little can,
just enough. Yeah, just enough.
Honestly, I'm pretty out on it, but really, people love it.
Yeah, I'm not that into it.
I do
either,
like the sugar. Like, so I have been getting really in on just sugar, like not eating much during like the playing and stuff, but just having like you were saying with candy, maybe a baby Coke. Maybe maybe if I get my hands, maybe I'll stop by the sideline, snag a baby Coke, and just see
the Coke pre, during, or post, or multiple.
It's usually post. Although if you're playing multiple in a game, it's probably like before the third game. Yeah.
I will say like not much hits like a Coke like after you play though. I will say it's like woo. Yeah, that's
what are your guys' favorite like tournament snacks and drinks?
Uncrustables. Yeah.
I'm a huge blended fruit person. Like
you blend it or what? Or how do we get that?
Sometimes it's kind of nice when someone else does it. So I usually just buy a smoothie. But
buy a smoothie. Okay.
You bring your blender to the field.
I was
bring a battery pack, plug it in.
Yeah. But yeah, or like an acai bowl or something. Those really hit.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys like to eat before your games, or like, let's say, what's your schedule?
No.
You
I
got
don't want to do
you have a
it.
game at 9 a.m. Are you eating before that?
So tough.
I'm a big eater for sure. I'm definitely like having a bagel sandwich. Ideally with cheese. Well, ideally it'd be with goat cheese, but I'll settle for some cream cheese to please the rest of the team.
Well, we've got breakfast crew. Like,
I know I'm on it.
Yeah.
And so you're out on that, Skittles. You're not eating before the 9 a.m. game?
No. I'm down. Well, now that we have this, like, you know,
you guys kind of have a nice
fried
schedule.
Eggs and bread. Yeah, so I'll do that. But I do think it's important to eat before. But after games, I do it because we're forced to do it. I'll like grab the deli meat and like the roll, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
You guys kind of have the nice schedule where you start at 9 and then you just go, and then the last round is you're just done early, which is kind of nice. And you have flip side last game. That's kind of exciting. So Skittles, are you eating it all that day? Because like you're at 9, 11, 15, 1:30. What's our hydration nutrition looking like?
I think we're doing the egg sandwich in the morning, and then I'm like maybe phoning in a friend for a smoothie before the flip side game, and probably because it'll get warmer too. And then recently I've been considering, this came up at US Open, but the post game broth,
like bone broth.
Think about it. Yeah, like you get your salt.
Yeah.
You get some calories.
I love it.
An egg drop soup afterwards.
Protein, a little collagen.
Exactly.
I'm way in on the bone broth. I would bone broth and a baby Coke. Maybe.
Well, all liquid diet for Skittles.
This would actually be
bone broth.
This is a good idea that we should do, Quinn, is like, you know how like a lot of times people are on social media posting like a what I eat in a day? Like, but it could be like the tournament version. Like what I ate today. What I ingested. Like little
and it's
videos.
just all liquid or
no, I'm just saying it's just like anything. It could be like whatever. It could be
we're doing
whatever.
It seriously. We're doing it seriously. It's not like a okay.
Well, as seriously as like anything that's done on social media like that. So yeah.
I'm trying to save for my tournament diet.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, Antoine doesn't eat anything but meat and fruit, so like
oh really? He's on that diet.
Like just meat and fruit, man. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's
all right. All right. Any lasting thoughts that you want to leave people with? It's such a poor question. It's like no.
That is terrible. What about I got one. I gotta go. What about like you guys have like a certain band or a certain song you guys are listening to a lot this year? Is there a mantra? What's going on with that?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Well,
really? Silence.
I feel like no. No, we're listening to music.
Dude, that would be so tough to do a silent warm up. Holy fuck, you'd be so scared of that team. Holy
but this past weekend at practice, well, different people are on Ox, and this past weekend at practice, someone was like, don't we just have like a Theory warm-up playlist? And everyone was like, yeah, but there's just, so much random stuff on there. We got to curate it for the day every time. Yeah. So
that's tough.
Yeah, we're curating.
That's interesting because you guys have, you have the someone doing laundry, like those types of things. You would think we would have the music built
DJ.
in.
Yeah,
it's true. Amel did do it for us for the last few years, and she's not here, and her presence is greatly missed.
Okay, so we need to fill that role. Skittles, rookie on the team, we could step into
DJ
that.
Skittles,
I feel like DJ Skittles.
I have to say, Suds and Nikki both have been doing that daily curating. So if we could just save what they're doing daily. Dude, it just seems like a lot of work. They're like trying to run the warm-up lap as they're like queuing.
Yes, it's hard. I almost feel like the goal would be, I did it once with Bird. It's like you've just got to, you have the vibe queued up for a while, and then you just, when you start to feel it switching, you like up that intensity a little bit. So you have the I'm sure a DJ could explain it better, but there's like some sort of frequency that we're starting with a little slower, and then we're gonna go up and do
like
a little
BPMs
harder.
You're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
and then we're gonna go a little faster, like in
play
the
the
warm up,
crowd.
and then like right before the game, we're just like ripping, like heavy metal, like whatever it is,
BPM,
just super fast. That'd be cool.
Interesting.
So so you guys don't really, you're just curating every time. Interesting.
Well, I mean, KJ, you made a good point though. Like if you like with the playlist got a bunch of random shit in it. Like the issue, you can't open it up to the team. You can't please everybody.
No,
you gotta have a couple people
I
do
don't
it.
know,
And because Kins is somebody that's not happy with the music, and
I'm not happy because we've played Linger probably every fucking practice
Is that a problem?
Yes. To me, that's a problem.
Banger.
To me, it was a banger 3 months ago. It's no longer. It's a thud. It's a straight thud. It's no longer a banger. It pisses me off. We played it. It's Becky playing the same frequencies every time. It's like. Anyway, what are you gonna do? But
you can't please everybody.
No, you can't. But I think you can you can try. You can switch it up a little bit. I think. Anyway, let's go to our finer things segment presented by no one.
BE Ultimate can have it. They can have it.
Nah, they can't. They already got one.
Fair enough.
Skittles, KJ, have either of you thought of a finer thing that you would like to share with the group?
KJ, do you have one?
I don't think so.
Skittles has one. I can tell.
For sure.
Like tournament specific or just in life?
No, life.
Yeah, it's broad.
Preferably life. But I mean,
Right.
Ultimate is fun.
Yeah.
Oh God. I know we had so much time to prepare.
I'm trying to think of one now but I've done probably 50 of them.
I know.
I'm desperately looking
Like
at
running out.
My life is so dry now. Like nothing gives me joy because I've already shared it with everyone.
Okay, I have one,
Here we go.
which is it's like sort of team related, but today I wore a shirt that I got yesterday. And I was all excited and like the whole day I was like, I've got my little new shirt on and like looking nice. And it was Maggie Ruden's shirt because we do a thing called Fury Flea at the beginning of the season, and everyone just brings clothes and like lays them out at the end of practice, and you like grab everyone's things. And actually, Maggie just did an extra one yesterday at Pod and was like, "Here's some things," and we like go dig through.
I like that.
It's nice, and it's not that
That's
I was noticing a Fury Flea
so
from
good.
That's so good.
And it's like, it's not just like the trading's nice, but like you wear the thing and you're like, oh, and you like Snapchat the team. You're like, look, I'm wearing Maggie's socks today. Or,
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
just
this
Maggie.
person's thing.
All that
That's
stuff.
great.
Fury sounds like they have a lot of this stuff built in that I would like to start
Yeah, this is-
incorporating. The flea is nice.
It's nice.
Very nice.
That's
do like
really
that.
good.
That's mine. Wearing Maggie's clothes.
No, that's good.
That's a good
That's a
one.
good. That's a good.
I guess
one.
I'll just second it since I'm in her shirt.
Maggie's shirt. You're in Maggie's shirt.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Do you
Excellent.
have one?
No, I mean we've just like I feel pretty good about having like had 5 up to this point. I'm really.
Yeah.
I was hoping that Skittles' finer thing would like
Inspire
kinda,
you.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Oh man.
like with clothing and stuff.
Well, but it was good because it's very personal and it's very like so
Yeah,
it did
very
inspire
niche.
you because it's personal and niche, so that's why it's good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
awesome. I feel really good about that, everyone.
That was great.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoy Nationals and good luck to KJ and Skittles and Fury.
And Fury. All right.
Thanks.
Catch y'all later.
Thanks.
Be seeing you.